from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. It's the final of the East Regional, as over 32,000 fans are all set to see Louisville and North Carolina play for a trip to the Final Four. One of the hottest tickets in town. And this is how they got here. North Carolina defeating California, and Louisville holding off the Longhorns from Texas. Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Syracuse. I'm Gus Johnson. As Louisville and North Carolina, they're all set to face each other for the first time since 1986, when Louisville beat the Tar Heels in the Sweet 16 en route to the national championship. But the big story for Louisville surrounds their star player, Dewan Weed, who suffered a severely sprained ankle on Friday against the Texas Longhorns with 15:52 to go in the second half of play. He did not return to the game, although x-rays proved to be negative. He's been receiving around-the-clock treatment. And for an update on his status, let's check in with Andrea Joyce.
All right, Gus, we just got word that Dewan Wheat is starting. The Louisville staff watched him in the shoot-around and in the warm-ups. He was running and he was jumping. And just a few minutes ago, he told Coach Denny Crum that he did feel like he was able to play. Team doctor, Dr. Rudy Ellis, told me that they are concerned about his lateral movement, but he also said that he is amazed at the remarkable improvement that he has seen in the last 43 hours. We'll see how he does this afternoon. Gus?
All right, Andrea, I'm joined by my partner, Quinn Buckner. Dewan Wheat in the lineup. That's big for Louisville.
Well, I think it helps some. I think you can get started, and he'll play a little bit. But his lateral movement will be effective, make no doubt about it. B.J. Flynn is going to have to get extended minutes. You don't know how he's going to react under those circumstances. And the other guy that's got to play big is Alvin Sims. 25 points, a career high. This is a guy that's got to give them the offensive punch that they need in the game in order for Louisville to have some success.
And success, that's been the word for North Carolina. They're coming off a victory over California, and the two guys that's really been leading them, Antoine Jamison, Eddie Cota. Jamison, the guy in the middle, he's a spectacular-looking sophomore.
Jamison is a guy I like because he has great quickness, explosion, and he's elusive. He's a guy that you can take a look at right here. He's in the back of the defense, and the defense has got to be aware of him when you're the Cardinals. Somehow they lose him. But watch this. He gets to the basket and explodes. He gets there quickly. That's what Carolina is going to try to use, that inside game, and Antoine Jamison in particular.
21 points, 8 rebounds for Jamison against Cal. Coming up, the East Regional Final. The winner to take a trip to Indianapolis and the Final Four. Starting lineups coming up next.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Genuine Chevrolet, Fidelity Investments, Budweiser, and by Radio Shack.
Syracuse, New York, side of the East Regional Final, North Carolina and Louisville. And it's been over a decade since these two teams have faced each other on the floor. Coming up next, one of these guys will be heading to Indianapolis and the Final Four.
People frown about all sorts of things.
And welcome back to Syracuse. Gus Johnson, Quinn Buckner, Andrea Joyce with you for the East Regional Final. And the head coach for the Cardinals, Denny Crum, in his 26th season. He's got in Louisville to 6 Final Fours, the last in 1986, and his starting lineup. They've used the same starting lineup the entire season. Dewan Wheat will be in the starting lineup, making his 136th straight start. That's a record. And for North Carolina, the legend, Dean Smith, 36 seasons in Chapel Hill, the all-time winningest coach in NCAA history. He's led 10 teams to the Final Four. And his starting lineup, Okalaja, Jamison, Zwicker, Shammond Williams, and Vince Carter. And your officials, Curtis Shaw, John Cowell, and Stan Reynolds. These two teams have met 7 times. Carolina with the 4-2 advantage. Dean Smith 4-1 against Denny Crum. And Quinn, as these two teams take the floor right now, what's going through their minds with the possibility of going to the Final Four?
There are some anxious moments. I'm starting to get a little anxious myself. It's like getting prepared to play again. Even though these guys think they have a feel for what's at stake, what they have to be able to do is you have to balance your emotions. So initially, it's going to be like a boxing match. You got to figure out what they're doing, and the coaches will be doing the same thing. The real question is, how long can Dwan Wheat uphold under this pressure?
So we're underway from Syracuse. Tip controlled by the Cardinals. Inside, Dantzler, nice bounce pass, up and in, and Louisville. They get out on the board first. Nate Johnson, the freshman from Camden, New Jersey. And Shamon Williams quickly answering.
He did it on Dwan Wheat, and what you would like to see him testing is off the drive, but he came up on the jump shot because Shamon is a very good jump shooter.
Shamon set a single-season record for threes with 4 against California, breaking Kenny Smith and Donald Williams' record. 91 total this season. Here's Alex Sanders, and he comes out with the hot hand.
What Louisville really would like to do here is just keep it close in the first half, and then they can make some adjustments in the second half. They will probably start to run because that's when they compete at their best, when they're active.
Almost a steal, and it is. Sims getting a hand on it. Here's Wheat. Nice look. Johnson inside Sanders. Sims on the baseline. Got it off. Short. Tipped out to Wheat.
And teams that shoot badly, one of the things they usually do, if they can get this far, is pretty good offensive rebounding team, just like Louisville.
And Wheat looks pretty good on that ankle point.
Yeah, but he hadn't had to force himself to get anywhere. And Shamon Williams, I think, needs to put more pressure on him to force him to have to move laterally.
Johnson spotting up in the corner. Fires up an air ball, out of bounds. He'll stay right here. And for North Carolina, in the first round, they beat Fairfield, then Colorado, and they trailed by as many as 7 against California, but came back to win. 21 points, 8 rebounds for Antoine Jamison in that game. Here come the Tarheels in transition. Nice finger roll. Ademola Okalaja.
Well, Wheat was trying to make a pass, and I'm paying particular attention on Wheat because when he tried to make the pass, he did it because he couldn't spring up and get a shot. He was open momentarily, turned it over.
Wheat has been suffering with all kinds of injuries during postseason play. Bursitis in his shoulder, calf injury, now the ankle. 10 on the shot clock now. He'll take the jump shot, partially blocked, but he buries it.
He had to travel to get there, but it's got to even be emotional lift for his team to see him make the shot.
Just a Herculean effort by Dwan Wheat to get out on the floor despite all the pain and get out there and contribute for this Louisville team.
Well, you've got to worry about the lateral movement. Watch how gingerly Wheat starts moving, and he'll travel trying to make sure he takes the pressure off his foot. Watch. See how he had to take the extra step? So he's concerned about it, but he was able to get it up over the top of Zwicker for that shot.
Wheat going out of the game against Texas with 15:52 to go in the second half. They feed the post. Dantzler inside, up and in.
They're going to go at Zwicker because they think they have the quickness with the forwards and the center. They don't have the overall size, so you go with quickness.
So Louisville jumping out to a 10-5 lead. Here's Williams around the screen. Let it go off the front of the rim. Cleared by Sims. Cardinals trying to run. Sims inside. Wheels up. And a little too much.
Got to the basket. You got to finish that one.
Lobbed ahead to Carter. Did a nice job gathering himself, and he'll get the tip in.
Yeah, he got the tip in because Wheat didn't stop him the first time and couldn't block him out because he doesn't want anybody else's weight on his ankle because he just doesn't have the strength.
Carter's averaging 12 points. There's Wheat again. Off the back of the iron. Jamison with the rebound. Carter behind the three-point line.
You know, this is the guy, I think, frankly, that's been playing with the most confidence in the last couple of days. Vince Carter. He's got 5 points, but he's shooting it with confidence. He got the slight growing pull. Doesn't seem to have bothered him.
He's been averaging 12 points in the NCAAs. And we get a foul inside. And for the Cardinals, this is how they entered the regional final with wins over UMass, New Mexico, and also Texas. They held the Longhorns to 28% shooting in the second half. on Friday. Reggie Freeman, 2 of 14, a season low 6 points. They reverse it. Sanders. Rebound. Nate Johnson short arms it. Had a great opportunity there.
They've got to get those in, but here's the matchup that I think is going to be most difficult. Coder's into the game with the quickness to go against Wheat.
Wicker, rebound, and the basket will not count. Traveling violation against the Tar Heels. 15:51 to go. We've got a ball game so far. It's tied at 10.
Back in Syracuse, these are interesting times. Louisville coach Denny Crum has flown a neuroscientist into Syracuse to strengthen his players' mental game. Steve Halliday actually worked with Alvin Sims and Damian Dantzler last week before they came to Syracuse, and look how their numbers improved in the regional finals against Texas. Sims told me Halliday helped him visualize how well he's played in the past and restored his confidence. Now, with that success, Denny Crum had Halliday come to Syracuse yesterday, and as you might expect, Gus, there were a lot of players anxious to speak to the guy they now call the shot doc.
I hear you. Meanwhile, a steal. Williams straight to the basket, hanging in the air, and he will head to the free throw line. The last shot prior to this one by Williams was credited as a three-point basket for Shaman. And Quinn, nowadays you see this a lot in sports. Why so many... this guy, a neuroscientist, why do you see that so much now?
Yes, it's kind of a takeoff of the approach of the sports psychologist scenario, where there are people who they believe if they see themselves succeed, that there's a better chance to have some success. And I'm sure that's what Denny Crum wanted out of his team, or those particular individuals. And you see it because the mental aspect of the game, particularly now, where you're playing against such good teams, everybody's about the same in the talent for the most part. The mental is what gets you over, so that's why you see it more.
So a 10-0 run right now for North Carolina. They lead it by 5. 11:39 to go here in the first half of play.
But that's the interesting thing about the run was it started to happen shortly after DeJuan Wheat went out of the game, so they did not do a good job of going to other people and getting some scoring.
Louisville, they missed their last 5 shots. Coda
almost broke B.J. Flynn's ankle.
12-0 run now for the Tar Heels. 22-15. Wheat and Damian Dantzler ready to check back into the basketball game. And so far in the tournament, in the first half, Louisville, they've been shooting about 37%. Here's Nate Johnson, and he'll get the roll.
That's only the second basket they've gotten inside. I mean, they started the game and got one in front. And until that one, they really hadn't done anything inside.
They want to hold it close until the second half, where during the NCAAs, they've been shooting 51% in the second half of play. Helped Texas defensively to 28% on Friday.
You know, some of that is due, quite frankly, Gus, with no deference to any of the other people who've been coaching, because that's not what I'm saying here. The coaching staff on both sides, you got 2 Hall of Fame coaches here, and their strengths are making those adjustments at halftime, and that's why both of them seem to play better after half, because adjustments are made.
Don't forget, coming up next, Providence and Arizona at 5 o'clock. From Birmingham, Carter all alone.
Poor switching, but in Birmingham, going back to Arizona and Providence, Arizona shocked the world. They brought Kansas to their knees.
10 points now for Vince Carter. North Carolina backcourt outscoring Louisville as Sanders hits the 3, 19-6.
But North Carolina will live with Sanders shooting jump shots.
At 17 points against Texas, Williams again. His shot too strong. Sanders with the board. 4-point lead for the Tar Heels. Wheat back in the game. Sanders thinking about it. He'll fire. Carter with the backside rebound.
I think Sanders has got to make Swicker come to him and put the ball on the floor.
Coda spinning inside, and he walks.
If you do a good job setting screens, you're normally the person that gets open, and you'll see that happen. Just watch right here. Sets the screen and then just steps back to Sanders, because the defense has to help out, particularly when the pick is set and the cutter goes to the basket.
A lot of incentive for Sanders playing today. He went to Oak Hill Academy in Mount of Wilson, Virginia. Played high school ball with Jerry Stackhouse and Jeff McGinnis, also Makhtar Jai.
Yeah, there were a lot of good players. He made a decision that he wanted to play for Denny Crum at Louisville because he thought the game was more physical at Louisville, and he plays more of that style of play.
(24-20), under 10 to go. Here's Jamison swinging it. Cota, top of the key. 15 on the shot clock. He tries to rifle it inside, but DeJuan Wheat got a hand on it. Alvin Sims checks back into the game.
Both coaches doing a good job, I think, in substitution, keeping fresh bodies out here. Gus, you asked me about it earlier, about how do you feel? Well, emotionally, when you get psyched up for a game, sometimes it's tough to get your second win. Both coaches running players in and out, assuring that that second win does come.
Baseline's Wicker, and he really has gotten good hitting that baseline jump shot. The other way, Sims inside, left-handed in.
He came to a good jump stop, but he was able to split the defense and get where he needed to go. 5
first-half points for Alvin Sims. Louisville wants to keep it close in the first half. They feel that they can win the game if it's close when the second half begins. They trail by 4 now, 8:41 to play in the first half.
Defensively, Louisville likes to play man-to-man. They do a lot of switching because they have guys of like size. You've got to guard Okulaja. He can make three-point shots. He's a great player to have on your team, Gus, because he doesn't need any offense run for him, but he can still, when he gets the open shot, he can make it.
Carolina 4 of 5 from the three-point line. Sims, pick and roll, picked up his dribble, and a jump ball. Carolina will get it on the possession arrow.
I mean, this is really kind of a careless turnover here, because you've got to be strong with it. You just see again, Okulaja gets his hand on it. Sims has nowhere to go. You put the ball over your head defensively. If you get a hand anywhere near that top range, there's nowhere for you to go.
Backdoor Carter. Tipped up, Carter over the back, out of bounds. And Louisville will get the basketball. 7 minutes, 59 seconds to go here in Syracuse, North Carolina, 29-22 lead. And the game summary. North Carolina shooting 62%, but look at the backcourt scoring. 27-11 in favor of the Tar Heels. Shammond Williams, Vince Carter, Eddie Cota really doing a great job putting the ball in the basket.
Well, they've also gotten some inside play from Vince Carter, but they got 16 points to the 8 for Louisville. And that's been a part of the problem. They haven't been able to pick up any scoring, has Louisville. You expected Sims to step up. He's 2 for 6 with only 5 points. He's got to give some more output.
Cota double team. They skip it. Williams on the right wing. Inside. Nice look for Jamison on the give and go.
I don't think there's enough credit given to North Carolina in their ability not only to find the open man, but to execute the pass just as it needs to be. That was soft enough for it to be caught, put in the basket.
Antoine Jamison, sophomore from Charlotte. He's not 100%, suffering from a stiff back. Wheat, his shot off the mark. Cota straight to the basket, used his body, got the left hand up, and sank the basket.
That's a tough play to make, but Cota was very confident from the time he started dribbling at full speed, left-handed.
Sims, hesitation, shut down by Carter. 45-29, 3:05 to go. Sanders will face the basket.
The zone is taking away all of the angles, or even the attempt to get angles and split the defense. Louisville just isn't doing that now.
Sims will fire. His shot off the side of the rim. Poor shooting right now for Louisville. Lead pass, Jamison.
And see, Sims is the guy back. And they run to his backside, and the guys get out. Both Carter will get out and run. Shammond Williams will get out and run, and as will Jamison. I mean, at some point, and this is what I was concerned about, and Denny Crum has made the decision, as you take a look at what Alvin Sims has today, to take DeJuan Wheat out of the game, because he really wasn't giving the team anything. The last 3 shots he's taken have been short, which means he doesn't have enough energy or strength in that foot to get a good shot off.
Antoine Jamison at the line, 5 points coming off that 21.8 rebound outing against Cal. North Carolina with their biggest lead of the game, 47-29. And they are shooting 64% from the field, 18 of 28.
They've been able to get it where they want, but you feel for a guy like Dewan Wheat, Gus. Here's the time his senior gets a chance to help his team go to the Final Four, and he, unfortunately, like happens periodically, has gotten hurt, and he can't help his team.
And a turnover ahead. Eddie Cota straight to the basket, and he'll go to the line.
Oh, that's a tough call there, because Alvin Sims tried to jump away, and Eddie Cota tried to draw the foul, but Sims just picked up his third. So that's the bigger problem, is that the turnover has been leading to fast break opportunities. Good reach inside there by Shammond Williams, and he throws it up to Ed Cota. Watch this. The official happened to just be in a position that blocked him. He makes the call. Sims picks up his third, but he's still in the game.
So Eddie Cota nails the first free throw, and Antoine Jamison, we told you about his stiff lower back moments ago. He walked off the floor into the locker room. But right now, North Carolina, they can play the last 2:16 without him. 49-29. Flynn. Dantzler looking backside. Here's Johnson on the baseline. And Eddie Cota with the rebound. Here's Williams. 3-on-2. He'll force one up. And he can't get the roll. Sims the other way. Sanders behind the three-point line, and just a lid on the rim right now for Louisville.
As much as a lid on the rim, they're shooting jump shots. One of the reasons that their percentage can be reasonable, and sometimes it's like 45%, is that Louisville chases down shots after they miss them. Dean Smith's club, the Tar Heels, are not letting them get offensive rebounds to put back in the basket, because that's really where they get a majority of their offense.
For North Carolina, they've outscored them 20-5 in the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Nate Johnson at the free throw line. Let's check in with Andrea Joyce.
All right, Gus, Antoine Jamison did indeed aggravate his back when he got knocked down a few minutes ago. He is in the locker room. They're going to have him lie down until the end of the half, and then they'll take a closer look at him at halftime. Back to you guys.
All right, Andrea. Second free throw by Johnson. He has 8 points now, 49-31, 1:36 to play, first half.
As you might imagine, with Jamison's back, there's no real need to have him back in here in the first half, so I'm sure they'll just let him rest. And if need be, they may try to hold him out even in the second half.
And Shammond Williams really burning it up from downtown, 15 points.
And as I talked to Jamon yesterday, you and I talked to Shammond, we asked him, was he ready? You could see he was bouncing on his toes even yesterday in anticipation of being prepared to play in this afternoon's game.
He's 3 of 3 from the three-point line. North Carolina 5 of 6 from long range. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Pat O'Brien, George Raveling, Coach Krzyzewski, Clark Kellogg, all in the studio. And they will be taking a look at the Providence Friars.
I'm sure at some point they've already had a conversation about both UCLA, Minnesota, the UCLA game in Minnesota, which Minnesota won, and then Kentucky, who just improved. They get playing and their energy starts flowing. You're talking about some really solid teams that already have made it to Indianapolis.
So Eddie Cota picking up the foul. His second, 17th foul called against the Tar Heels. So Nate Johnson stepping to the free throw line with 8 points in the first half. His team down 52-31. Tony Williams entering the game. Replace Alvin Sims.
Yeah, so Sims has 3 fouls, and Denny Crum actually he got away with a little bit of without getting burned there with having 3 fouls on Sims. But Sims has got to come prepared to give some offense in the second half, because Carolina has defended him very well here in the first half.
And there's Serge Zwicker, the back of his sneakers. One-way ticket to Indianapolis and the Final Four.
Now, Gus, we talked about the neuroscientists, the psychological aspect. That's another form of it by putting that Indianapolis or Indy on the back of the shoe, which is wicked. It's kind of establishing your mind where you want to go and then prepare yourself to do it. But I don't think anybody thought after the first 3 games of the ACC that Carolina would be in a position to do what they're doing this afternoon.
North Carolina, the last time they lost a basketball game, January 11th to Virginia, 63 points they scored, 75-63 final score. And they are rolling today. Under 10 seconds to go. Inside, Dantzler. Johnson on the baseline, rattles out, tip won't go. Dantzler again. And that is the end of the first half. Big games for Williams and Carter. They have a combined 28 points. 54-33 our score at halftime. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Infinity, Xerox, United States Postal Service Priority Mail, and by MCI.